Hey, everybody, and welcome back to For the Booze.
For the Booze.
That's right.
I'm looking.
For the Booze.
I'm trying to find the stories that I missed last week.
Hi, friends. How are we?
Because I'm bad.
Hope everybody's good.
I'm never going to be good at this.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
It's a shame. Why do we do this? I don't even know why I do this. I'm sorry.
Well, it all started way back when.
There's copper in them there hills.
There's copper in them there hills.
Come on now.
What?
Not you.
Oh.
This thing. I got to learn how to use YouTube Live. So I'm going to start this off with, I want to read what somebody wrote about the Jerome.
Ooh. The Jerome Hotel?
Yeah.
That was a good one. It was such a good episode.
Or no, sorry. This is, we will get to that one. This one actually just came in yesterday. And this was on the Haunting in Connecticut one. Oh. And it says, I was at the house about 3 weeks ago. As soon as I got out of the car and walked towards the house, a strong smell of embalming hit me. I've been in morgues before. That distinctive smell bodies have is something that you will never forget. I came back to tell people who were waiting for me in the car about the smell, and the strong odor hit all the way to the car. They smelled it too. It was freaky. I've experienced a lot of paranormal activity my entire life, and I can definitely say the energies there are strong. I went to the Amityville home as well, but there's something more darker in the Connecticut house.
Ew.
So I thought that was
smells?
I thought that was pretty interesting because
wow.
I don't know, like maybe we're wrong. Maybe it is really haunted. Maybe there is really.
But that's crazy too, because there's no claims of that, like, you know, that we could find for our episode. So it's interesting that there's, you know, a different claim for the place. That's super cool.
One of the other comments I had gotten, I believe, was on TikTok, and I'm not going through TikTok to find it, but maybe I'll screenshot it some other time so I'm not doom scrolling through TikTok in the middle of a podcast. So the next one is all the way back to the Byberry episode.
Ooh, that was such a good one.
And
I loved that one.
It comes all the way in from Jen, the top tier Kim.
Jen?
Yeah.
Yay. We love our Patreon people.
So Jen Kim wrote, "Hi guys, I'm commenting today because I just found your channel and I would like to tell you how great your content is. Yeah, the other reason is I know Byberry and just wanted to share my knowledge, so this might be a slightly long comment. Anyway, I lived on the main line, a part of the surrounding Philly area, from about 2005 to 2020, and was a paranormal investigator from about 06 onwards. So firstly, you could not investigate Byberry at all. We tried. We were told they did not want that kind of stigma, and they were building condos, so it was going to be torn down anyways. I would drive by every now and again, avoiding highways, cutting through neighborhoods and such. Standstill traffic, never got on Highway 70, or never get on Highway 76 if you're ever in Philly. Last I saw, there was still a construction fence complete with barbed wire on top for the looters and explorers that you spoke of. The last I remember going by there was probably 2015 to 2017. Somewhere in there would be my guess. It's been a minute, and last I heard, construction still hadn't started, though I think last time I went by, the demo had, because I remember thinking, well, that's that, but for a while, all they had done was fence it off. This place has been a local celebrity, seems the wrong word, but probably most apt for the paranormal community in Philly, and a local legend to many who are not. I asked many people who were longtime residents in the area that had become friends over the years. Most just had a blanket statement like, that place is spooky or nasty or whatever, except for two friends from different circles, and neither were involved with ghost hunting. A friend who lived in the Northeast, a part of the outskirts of Philly, said you could still hear screams coming from the property from time to time, and when it was operational on hot summer days, you could smell the stench of the places you passed by. Another guy told me when the place was closed, they sent all the patients that were still left out the front gate and locked it behind them, turning them loose to wreak havoc on the neighborhood for days until the police could round them all up. Sorry this went on, but when you said something about people having possible ghost hunts there. I was like, okay, gotta stop the vid and comment. LOL, trust me, we tried. That place had the worst reputation locally in that it made the other local asylum, Penhurst, seem like Club Med. Thanks for covering this. Nobody ever does because it can't be investigated, and that's a shame. Have a good night, and I look forward to more videos from you. Now back to the video. She stopped the video to comment.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. It
took me forever to bring it up because YouTube clearly did not want me to read it.
Well, it's such a different aspect too than what we found, because she lived there. She drove by it. Yeah. That's really, really, really
the
cool.
only comments I've seen from people I can read those as they're easier than sifting through TikTok stuff. Mm-hmm. But the consensus is it was a bad place and people generally stayed away from there because it was so bad.
Right.
Even in its, demolition or, falling apart stages, nobody wanted anything to do with it. But this week we're going to do a pretty famous one that you asked me to do. I feel like you wanted me to do it because I wasn't going to be able to pronounce anything.
No.
We are going to travel to Mexico City, to a place that I feel was probably famous before but became more pop culturally famous because of Zach Baggins. And we're going to visit a place that has two different names that I've seen, the Island of the Dolls, or more aptly named, the Island of the Dead Dolls.
Ooh.
Now, I really thought because of how popular this place was, there would be more.
There wasn't?
I have no idea how this place is as famous as it is, but has such little to the story.
Wow. Really?
It's I've run into this problem before where I can find lots of websites talking about it. Mm-hmm. The problem is they're all just copy, paste, and repeating each other.
Right.
And
so it's kind of the same exact story over and over.
Yes.
And you can't find all the other pieces to fit in.
Yeah, so I pulled every little thing that I could from everywhere that I read. So if I did my best to try to make this sound like one complete story, but if it jumps around a little bit, I really did my best. This could have been a 10-minute episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So I had to really dig deep for this one.
Sorry.
Which sucks because last week was just you said the Jerome was one of your favorites. Mm-hmm. Last week's is definitely one of mine.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that one. Even though I said I didn't believe in it, I think the story was great.
And if anyone who just listens on podcast wants to go over to YouTube, my husband, this man right here, put 30 hours into editing, and there are news clips.
Don't talk about your husband. What if he comes home while I'm sitting here?
There's so much to that video, and it is absolutely amazing.
It's a fun one to watch.
It really is.
There's the visual aid of it, in my opinion, and not just because I make them, but it makes it better because...
Oh, absolutely.
You're not just... if I find articles or pictures... videos, I put them in
of the actual places, people that we talk about, it's in there and you get to see it.
My favorite part of last week's video wasn't even about the video. It was about the things that happened in 1986. Mm-hmm. And the only way you really get to experience that, I mean, you can listen to it on the podcast, but it's better if you watch it.
It is.
It is.
It really is.
It's sad though. But we're going to start this Island of the Dead Dolls.
Okay. Let's do it.
And we're going to get into this. There's going, in Spanish listeners, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do my best. I do not speak your language, and I'm going to try, so I apologize. Now, if you've ever seen the horror movie Child's Play, then you've probably never looked at dolls the same way again. While dolls can feel creepy to those who watch horror films like this, most people don't worry that a doll is actually going to harm them. However, a few people have an intense and irrational fear of dolls. This fear, called pediophobia, can be triggered by popular culture, horror movies, or another traumatic event even loosely related to dolls.
Wow.
A fear of dolls, or pediophobia, is considered an anxiety disorder known as the specific phobia. Pediophobia is a type of automatonophobia. Yep, sure, why not?
That was a big word.
Which is a fear of inanimate objects that appear human, or a fear of anything that simulates a real human being. So it's kind of like clowns, like people's fear of clowns.
I get that one.
Well, I get this one. So that's another part of this, right? As I had to look up nothing but dolls.
Yay.
That's all right. We got clown stuff coming.
No.
The word pediophobia comes from the Greek word paidion. I'm not Greek either, so I don't speak that one, which means little child. People with pediophobia fear interaction with dolls or other inanimate objects. Even just seeing a human-like object may cause severe panic. The reaction and response can vary significantly from person to person. Now, inanimate objects can include dolls or anything else that appears human-like, including ventriloquist dummies, wax museum statues, humanoid robots, department store mannequins, and animatronics or motorized puppets typically found in theme parks.
Wow. I do have to say that, like, wax museums and like animatronics
weird
make me feel weird.
I don't mind the animatronics so much. Like, you know, I my brain automatically goes to the Hall of Presidents.
Right.
You know, for anybody who's ever been to Disney, Orlando. Do they have that one in California?
Think they have it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about in California. I don't even know do they still have that in Disney?
Yeah.
In Florida?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's never going anywhere. But they don't look real.
Right.
And they move. I don't know.
Maybe it's from like Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid because it used to freak me out.
I loved it.
I don't know.
I loved it at Chuck E. Cheese. But then, like, the wax figures, though, are different.
Oh, they look so real.
That's the problem.
It's weird.
They look too lifelike.
Yeah.
I always expect one to, like, stand up and walk away.
Yeah. Mannequins in stores, stuff like that.
Don't
Like,
bother me.
that's fine.
Yeah. Herb Baumeister.
Herb Baumeister.
Now, in the case of pediophobia, the phobic object is dolls, which may include human-like dolls or stuffed toys. Like most phobias, pediophobia can cause an array of mental and physical symptoms that include racing heart or increased heart rate, sweating, hot flashes or chills, shaking or trembling, shortness of breath, choking feelings, chest pain, upset stomach, nausea or vomiting, feeling dizzy or faint, and even feelings of dread or doom.
Wow.
Upset stomach, diarrhea, no problem.
Pepto,
baby.
I don't know, because like when I see like the wax museums, if I were to pick something that it'd be more like upset stomach and nausea. It just makes me like feel weird. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't really get any of those feelings. I just get that feeling of like, this thing's going to get me.
Like, oh God.
But I don't get like, I don't know. I don't get any of those symptoms, honestly.
I don't know. It gives me like a pit in my stomach, I guess.
I just get a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Now, specific phobias affect more than 9% of adults in the United States. Thinking about or seeing a doll can cause severe anxiety symptoms to someone with pediophobia, even if they know that the fear is irrational. Now, the island of dolls is located off the famous canals of Xochimilco in the southern part of Mexico City, where motorless human-powered boats known as trajineras.
That sounds good.
Little boats, brightly painted and often named, are propelled by a pole down the canal. So like
kind of like you see in like Italy or
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Mexico City was originally an island in a volcanic caldera lake surrounded by the Sierra Madre Mountains. The Aztec Empire was the first to start developing the area, building a system of man-made islands called chinampas, and a canal system for farmers to navigate them. So they are basically, there's a bunch of little canals with a bunch of little islands, and they would farm these islands. And I believe the canals the water from the canals would keep everything watered.
I don't know. That's pretty cool though. Like very genius to grow.
It's very
like you live elsewhere, but like you travel to the farms via the water, but it's all near water. So it's like perfect. I don't know.
It's very like, what do they call it? The chain of lakes or whatever, like down in Florida.
Yeah.
But smaller.
Okay.
So it's like that. Mm-hmm. After the Aztecs were defeated in the Spanish-Aztec War, much of the chinampas were filled in and turned into the basis of the city that exists today. Except for the most southern end of Mexico City in Xochimilco, where the chinampas and canal system still exist, an integral part of local life, and are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I believe that's like a historic site, but on like a world level.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
At times, the neighborhood was also used as shelter for Mexican revolutionaries and religious practitioners who may have fallen out of favor. Some of them ended up killed or drowned in these canals. Quote, during the time of Cortes, many people fled here to Xochimilco and hid on the canals. A lot of these people were women and children hiding from the conquistadors, and many women killed themselves rather than be caught. Now, the island of dolls was, for centuries, and it was a place to disappear.
Wow. Okay.
I don't dive too far into the, because like it's easy to dive far into American history because it doesn't go back that far. This goes way back, so it would be way too hard to like deep dive onto the history of this place. But just know that lots and lots of bad things happened here, and lots of people died here.
I could only imagine.
It was bad.
I don't want to, but
yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Most of the ghostly legends find their origins in the past, when the Spanish conqueror Hernan Cortes visited the Aztec land. His first visit was actually friendly. He even got a tour around the area, but when he returned from Spain the second time, he actually returned with an army.
Oh.
Now, he slaughtered everyone who was in the way and plundered villages. He wiped out most of the Aztec population. Not just town. He wiped out most of the population.
What? But why?
Because they were conquerors. That's what they did.
Cool, bro.
That's
what?
What they did. I mean, it happened all the time back then.
Wow.
Now, more than 30,000 bodies were dumped into these canals. Many believe that this opened a paranormal pathway, allowing evil entities to travel from their dimension into ours. 30,000 bodies.
God.
I'm sure those rivers ran red.
Oh my God. That is horrible.
It's dark.
That is absolutely awful.
It's dark.
Wow.
Now, during the day, the canals literally buzz with activity. But after dark, locals they all avoid these waters. They say evil and demonic creatures lurk under the surface. Most feared are the nahuales. Yeah, I'm struggling today. Dark entities who can disguise themselves as animals such as fish and black leopards, and they wait beneath the surface to take the lives and souls of unexpected travelers.
My God.
They have really cool sounding demons, though.
Yeah, right?
That's pretty rad.
I should have phoned a friend for phonetics on this episode.
Yeah, you could have helped me out a little bit.
I didn't realize there was so much.
You asked me to do a Mexican place. Did you not think there were going to be Spanish things in here?
I mean, yeah, but
they are hard.
I don't know.
God, I'm so white.
Me too.
I am Irish and Native American, dude. I have no chance at this.
Oh, I'm literally just all white. European.
Yeah, you Swedish princess over here. Locals also believe other dark entities haunt the waters, entities that can change into black-eyed little girls.
Oh, God.
Now, they try to lure victims into the water to drown them. Victims of these entities are never found.
That reminds me of what's the lady's name who goes and looks for her child?
Oh, well, hold on. Just hold that thought.
Okay.
Another spirit who roams the grounds near the canals is that of La Llorona.
La Llorona.
I know that one. Yeah, you messed that up. You try to be super on with that one.
I was reading it, and there's two L's together.
Yeah, that's
My
Llorona.
mouth was like, blah, blah, blah.
La Llorona. This is a woman who is in desperate search of her children. Legend says she killed her own children first, but now cries and weeps for them. Locals fear the canals at nighttime and don't feel comfortable talking about them. Mm-hmm. So there you go. It sounds like that because boom, there she is. She's here.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is it her children that are the little black-eyed children?
I doubt that because there's a whole legend around her and her children. But I was just thinking, I have heard the original story of La Llorona. Mm-hmm. Did it happen here? Did it happen in this spot?
I don't know.
I wish I would have thought of that when I was writing or when I was putting all this together.
Yeah.
But I didn't. And now I'm wondering. I wonder where that actually took place.
I can look it up.
It does supposedly take place in a specific location.
Right. I'd love to know.
All right, you look that up while I read.
Okay.
Now, this small island is adorned with thousands of old, tattered dolls hanging from trees and scattered across the landscape. The dolls on the island vary in size, age, and condition. Some are missing limbs, while others have decaying features, contributing to the eerie atmosphere. The story of La Isla de las the Island of the Dolls, is intimately entwined with the story of Don Julian Santana Barrera, a native... I will never let you influence me to do an episode again.
I'm sorry.
Of Xochimilco. I know what it is if I stop and think about it, but if I don't and I try to keep reading, it really throws me off.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's a borough of Mexico City, and Don Julian left his wife and family sometime in the mid-20th century to sequester himself on an island on Techuelo Lake. This was in the 50s, I believe, where he left his family behind and went and moved on this island.
Wow.
Yeah. His reason for doing so are hazy at best, but soon became clear. Santana Barrera was not necessarily of sound mind. He wasn't all there. Not long after relocating, he made a chilling discovery on the shores of his island, the body of a young girl drowned in the lake. Now, a doll came floating down the canal shortly afterward, changing the course of Santana Barrera's life and the shape of the island for years to come.
Uh-oh.
Did you find it?
I did. So it is the Venezuelan area.
Oh, well, we're not even close.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
not even close.
Yeah. It said Mexico in the first one I read, and then there was something that says the real story.
Don't Venezuelans, don't they speak Portuguese? A lot of South America speaks Portuguese. I know that.
Yeah, but I saw Mexico.
I only know that because of the Portuguese people in my family.
Yeah, I saw Mexico, but then I looked up the real story, and it said Venezuelan. So
maybe it's just a Spanish legend in general.
Probably, yeah.
Now, alone on the island, Barrera took the doll and hung it from a tree to appease the spirit of the deceased girl. But, at least in the eyes of the man who now considered himself the island's caretaker, the one doll was not enough. For the next 50 years, Santana Barrera would scrounge dolls from the trash and from the canals and hung them from the island's many trees. Some he'd hang whole, others in various states of disrepair, headless, torsoless, or taken apart in other ways. The offerings hang from branches, wires, and fences, while others have been cruelly nailed right into the tree trunks. A couple lay actually face down in the dirt as if they died mid-crawl, trying to escape the horrors of La Isla de las Muñecas. I wish I spoke this language. Island of the Dolls.
But why?
Because I don't know. Nobody knows.
But why?
Nobody knows.
Super weird thing to pick.
One person knows. Santana Barrera.
Yeah.
Over time, the entire island became a bizarre shrine dedicated to this lost soul. So this whole island is full of dolls because of the spirit of one little girl.
Yeah.
That he says he found. He found her body and then it disappeared and a doll floated up or floated down the canal in place. Very creepy.
Super weird.
Now, I'm sure it's Don Julian. I keep saying Julian because I'm white. Don Julian also kept his cabin filled with dolls, which he dressed in headdresses, sunglasses, and other accoutrements. Although most people were afraid of the island, Don Julian saw the dolls as beautiful protectors, and he welcomed visitors whom he would actually show around, charging a small fee for taking photos.
I mean, make money off it. Sure, why not?
Which is crazy because to get out there now costs an arm and a leg.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure it costs way more now.
Oh, it's
historic now.
There's quite a, but it was historic then. This is in 2001. Yeah, this isn't in 1975.
I get it.
So I mean, the legend of the island, it's already here, and he was just letting anybody come on. I think it was more of like he wanted people to come see his shrine to the girl.
Like, look what I did.
I feel like he might have thought it appeased the spirit of the girl in some way.
I would assume so.
It's hard to say.
Because, I mean, he supposedly found the girl, and then all of a sudden there was a doll in her place. Mm. So why not give her all the dolls?
And I've seen pictures of this guy, and by all accounts, he looks like a normal old guy. He doesn't even look like he would have been, off his rocker or anything. So it looks pretty normal.
Right.
Now, in 2001, Barrera's nephew came to the island to help his uncle. As they fished in the canal, Barrera, then 80 years old, sang passionately, claiming that the mermaids in the water were calling for him. His nephew ended up leaving briefly, and upon his return found Barrera dead from a heart attack, face down in the canal, in the same spot where the girl was said to have drowned. And after Barrera's death, his family opened the island to the public as a tourist attraction.
Wow.
So he died where she was found.
That's crazy. Like, did he know and like went there, or?
No, he knew.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had an inkling of an idea that he was...
It was time.
Yeah, it was time.
Yeah.
Some people, they have that.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same reason... I'm not trying to compare people to dogs, but it's the same reason dogs will just walk off into the woods one day and never come back.
Right.
Yeah, same thing. Now, in the last 2 decades, boat tours in Mexico City have popped up to take visitors to the island of the dolls. Though Barrera saw his collection as an assortment of beautiful protectors, a fair number of tourists find the island bizarre and terrifying, and I'm one of them.
I'm sure.
I'm one of them.
Because creepy.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I don't like it.
I don't really like dolls. I
freaking hate dolls.
I'm not like on your level.
I don't like them.
But like if I saw pieces and bits and stuff like hanging from tree, like that's a little
We could do a
weird.
little tour. We'll go by Island of Dolls, and then we'll go over to Clown Hotel.
No.
Now, the creepy atmosphere sets in during the boat ride, which is part of a 4-hour round trip that costs roughly $75.
4 hours of it?
Yeah, it's a long.
No.
Now, though the excursion begins with a winding ride through lush greenery and chirping birds, the growing amount of lily pads slow the boat down as the island draws closer. From pelicans and kingfishers to egrets and plenty of water snake species, the ride showcases the beauty at the heart of the jungle until the island appears. For professional photographer Cindy Vasco on the website allthat'sinteresting.com, La Isla de las Muñecas, is it Muñecas? Muñecas? The island of the dolls. It looks like
Muñecas.
I know. The island of the dolls was, quote, the creepiest place she ever visited. Quote, at the end of the journey, the boat, I'm not even saying this word, the boat turned along a bend in the waterway, and I was struck by a surreal vision of hundreds, maybe thousands of dolls hanging from trees on the tiny island. Now, it continues to draw curious visitors from around the world. In addition to the hundreds of dolls, the grounds host 3 huts and a small museum with articles from local newspapers about the island and Barrera. In the one-room hut Barrera slept in, the very first doll he collected is displayed, as well as Augustinita, his favorite doll, and the only one on the island that is actually named.
Whoa.
Yep.
Okay.
Although the island has become a tourist attraction, it all started because Barrera made his home alone on a scrap of isolated land. Some say that when he died, his spirit joined the others that supposedly haunt the island of the dolls.
I mean, if he put that much love and effort into it,
I mean, it's possible.
I could see.
It's possible. Locals claim that the dolls come to life at night, possessed by the spirits of the dead. They say the dolls whisper, whistle, move their limbs, and turn their heads on their own accord, hoping to lure the curious to a watery death in the island's canals. And others say it's just the wind. It's creepy.
No.
Allegedly, when Zach Baggins and his Ghost Adventures crew visited the Erie Island, one of the dolls started talking with its mechanical voice. It had clearly been up for many years, so the batteries must have been dead for a while. I remember that episode, and I actually remember this happening. Mm-hmm. And it is creepy, actually.
It is very creepy.
You know why? Because it's an older episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it was way better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty trash now. Either way, they say it is wise to offer the dolls as a gift as soon as you set foot on the island. Who knows? If you don't, you could meet the same fate as Don Julian Santana Barrera. With a place as legendary as this, it would be a shame to not deep dive into what travelers think about it. The stories are great, but that's just what they are. They're stories. What do everyday people, either sightseeing or looking for a thrill, have to say about it? Well, we took to the internet to find out, because that literally is the end of the story.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So the guy lived there, found a girl, then a doll, and then he decorated.
Possibly.
Okay.
I mean,
fair.
Listen, there is one more paragraph to this.
Okay.
I'll be
waiting.
I left it for the end.
Okay.
It's quite a twist.
Oh, God.
It's quite a twist. But yeah, that's the story of Island of the Dolls. Now, I'm going to get into this, but don't get your hope up.
Okay.
I'm just going to let you know.
Just my one hope? My one hope up?
I said hopes.
No, you didn't.
Shut up. In November 2016, on TripAdvisor.com, I can't speak today. In November 2016, on TripAdvisor.com, someone named Jennifer S. wrote, quote, "We rented a boat and floated to the island of the Dolls. On the way, we saw the top chef for Mexico on their boat, and they filmed some of the show at a replica island of the Doll." That's another thing. There's a bunch of replicas out there.
Oh, weird.
That's another thing I forgot to mention.
Like, you want more of that? No.
Well, it's to get tourists to go out there.
I get it, but I mean, one's enough.
I know, but now you aren't allowed on the island anymore. An elderly man met our boat at the entrance and told us the story. You could see onto the island, and through the fence, you could see the island and the dolls. Very creepy in a fun way. I was thrilled to finally see a place I had seen on ghost shows so many times. Be careful to negotiate your price and the time you want to spend, or you could get the grand tour and pay a lot more.
Oh.
We had a picnic lunch with us, plenty of water, and a jacket. The boats are covered and have a table and chairs. It was a fun 2-hour trip to the island and a relaxing 2-hour trip back. Go in the middle of the week for less crowded waterways. Great photo ops all along the way, end quote.
Okay. So it was a cool little trip.
4 hours in a boat, though.
It's a long time.
And we're not talking about like a fun motorized boat.
Right.
I mean, this could be better. I don't know, but
I love how she said they just like floated there. I hope you didn't actually just float there, because I mean, if it's a guided waterway, maybe, but like you could just end up somewhere else.
No, it's,
you know what I mean?
I don't know if there's like too much of a current and stuff happening here.
I don't know.
Because these are
interesting.
These are man-made. Mm-hmm. You know, these are man-made
right.
canals. So I don't honestly know how that works in man-made waterways, but
weird.
I can't imagine they're too powerful if somebody's pushing you with a pole there and back.
Right.
Because you'd have to fight the current one way or another.
Gondolas. That's what it.
Yeah.
That's the name I was thinking of earlier.
Good job.
Thank you.
In October 2015 on TripAdvisor.com, someone named Zoe M. wrote, quote, "This really is a must-do. There were only 4 people in my group, and we hired a boat between us, technically after closing time, just as the sun was starting to set. In many ways, it was reminiscent of an opening scene from a horror film. A group of friends with tacos and beer going to a remote haunted island with no telephone signal, in the dark. The canals are beautiful, and the journey was truly serene. You really need to allow around 4 hours for the trip and when you get on the boat to when you get back. It literally cannot be rushed. We were greeted at the island by a distant relative of the man the story revolves around. As my Spanish is poor, I relied on my Mexican boyfriend to translate. You really need to either speak Spanish or have someone with you who does. The island, wow. By the time we arrived, it was pitch black and we were the only visitors. It is packed with dolls in various stages of decay and displayed in numerous disturbing ways. It is both beautiful and unnerving. Also, there was a cat, which is always a bonus in my book.
Kitty.
I was delighted to discover there are toilets on the island. Beer and tacos, remember? But be aware that there are no lights. If you're going at night, take a torch. It will also help with setting up creepy photos. The only downside is that I was absolutely bitten to pieces by mosquitoes because I'm a fool who didn't think about using repellent. Don't make the same mistake. Whilst I'm sure blood-soaked swollen legs is a delightful look, it did slightly take the edge off of what was an otherwise astounding outing. Go.
Wow. Okay.
Swollen bloody legs. Gross.
I think she may have been alluding that she was needing to go number 2 on the island. Tacos and beer?
That's the way I took it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
It's pretty funny, though.
It is funny.
I could not imagine number 2ing on an island full of dolls in the middle of the night with no lights.
No, I definitely wouldn't want to go at night.
I hate that.
I mean, I'd want to be like on the water
and you
night,
gotta think,
maybe, but
Mexico is like, they have like lots of gnarly spiders and snakes and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're going in the bathroom at night?
No,
man.
No.
Forget that.
Nope.
In the dark.
Nope.
I love it. Love to see it. In September 2015 on TripAdvisor.com, someone named Daniel Henryson wrote, quote, "This is just creepy. On our peaceful way to the river, we see this small island with creepy dolls. I just thought my last minutes of life were counted. After I survived this experience, I thought it was kind of cool and an interesting place. End quote.
Awesome. Good little trip. Got it.
I feel like that's how I would feel like I'm about to die here.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, like, this is terrifying. And I'm going to die of heart attack.
Or somebody there is going to kill me.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's super creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in one last review in June 2022 on TripAdvisor.com from someone named Gabriella wrote, and I'm going to tell you, I picked this one because this sums up the majority of reviews that I found.
Okay.
Majority. Think about that as I read this. If I could give this place a 0, I would. As a massive horror fan, I was deeply disappointed with this place. Don't come here unless you have a Mexican friend to back you up. They sold us a 4-hour trip to the Island of the Dolls for 2,000 pesos, knowing that the original island was closed. From what we understood via Google Translate, the original island hasn't been open for a while. And then took us to a fake one. So, not only did they waste 4 hours of my life, but I also paid 2,000 pesos for something I didn't even want to see. That is
my God.
That is a good summarization of the majority of the reviews. Normally, these places we look at will have like 4.5 stars. This one barely has 3.
Oh my God. I wonder if it's a lot of like people who don't speak Spanish and they just try to take advantage.
Yeah, yes. Do you remember when we went to the Bahamas?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
Like they know you're a tourist and they're gonna try to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
A lot of poorer countries will do that. Because people got to eat.
Yeah. I mean, but still.
But
come on.
This is pretty much the majority of what I read.
Wow.
And the fact that, I don't know if you noticed, but, all right, so this one's in 2022. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like up until about 2016, you could go on there. But then you couldn't. But people are still selling you trips to go out there, even though you can't go out there.
That's rude. Very rude.
So, yeah.
I mean,
and I also had no paranormal stories. And I looked on every like trip website I could find. I could find nothing. So I don't know.
Wah, wah, wah.
Now today, the story of the Island of the Dolls has become a tourist attraction. I'm not saying that word again. I'm not doing it. La Isla de las Muñecas. Do I sound sexy when I say it? No? Okay. Where tourists can visit the island and see the 1,500 dolls Barrera hung throughout the small island. The hut he built for himself also adorned with dolls, and finally, a small shrine he created for the original doll he found. Now, many paranormal investigators have made the 4-hour trip to spend the night and claim to have caught proof of spirits roaming the haunted island. Claims of dolls moving or laughing having been caught on camera while no batteries were found in them, along with voices sounding like young girls caught on tape, are a common occurrence. Now, a twist to the end of this haunted story. Barrera's own family claims the body of the young girl he found in the canals was never there. They claimed he imagined the whole thing.
Stop.
What a twist. What a twist for the end of this.
Wow. It always like amazes me. Like these places pop up on these like super haunted, and like you dig in and find like the real stories and stuff behind it. And like you went a little above and beyond than the things that I could just like pull up on Google really quick. But I don't know.
So here's...
Some things turn out way better. And some things you're like, wow.
The summarization of this is, wow, we who don't really understand the island, anybody besides Barrera who doesn't understand the island looks at it as a creepy, because it's creepy.
Oh, yeah.
But to Barrera, it was the opposite. It was a beautiful shrine in his eyes to the spirit of a little girl that he couldn't save. So it's all really in the eye of the beholder with this one. It's not what we think it is. It's not what all of us think it is. It's something that it looks creepy, but that's not what it was to this guy. To this guy, it was a giant, beautiful shrine. Yeah,
and it is very, very creepy.
Super creepy.
But for him, it was a very sweet tribute to what he thought.
That's exactly what it was
a thing. Yep. So... cool.
But I mean, so we've always been told, oh, this place is so haunted and there's spirits and it's evil. But then we find out that
you can't find anything.
it's not even that we can't even find anything. That doesn't really bother me. His own family says that he imagined the whole thing.
Like
his own family.
Yeah, he was crazy.
And we're not talking about some distant relative. We're talking about family members who, like, they were out there helping him on, like, they know him.
Right.
So.
Okay.
That's weird, right?
That's super weird.
Oh, good. Then I have to ask you this.
Is it real?
Well, Megan, when it comes to the, hold on, let me set this up right. When it comes to La Isla de las Muñecas, I probably sound like the whitest dude right now. What do you think? Do you think it's haunted?
If you would have asked me before this, I probably would have said maybe, but now I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I don't. I think this was something this guy dreamed up and just kind of ran with it and did what he thought was right for what he thought was true.
Okay.
And I think the family coming out about it says a lot. Now, is it a great tourist attraction? Is it great money for the area? Absolutely.
Not anymore because you can't go on there, but.
But is it haunted? No, I don't think so. So what about you?
Also, if you would have asked me before this, I would have said yes. But here's my thing. I do believe Mr. Barrera saw a little girl. I just don't believe anybody else would have been able to see her. I don't think it's haunted, but I think to him it was.
I'm not doubting him at all whatsoever.
And that's the thing is, like, this is different than what we would normally see. I don't think anybody's actually faking anything here or anything like that. This wasn't a made up story because to him it was real.
Right.
But it's only to him. And for that reason, I just don't think it's haunted. I think we've all viewed this island in a much different way than it was ever intended.
Absolutely. Now that I know, like, what it was actually intended for, creepy as it may be.
It kind of makes me feel bad.
It does, yes.
Because this man dedicated his life, and he was mentally unstable.
Yeah, 100%.
But this was his way of, I don't know, making his life beautiful. And we've all just kind of stared at it like, well, this dude is nuts and creepy.
But he was really sweet.
Obviously. And and like there were no claims that like he was a bad man or anything. Like everybody said he was a great guy. He was just, he was out there. And it's just sad that what he left behind, that he viewed as something so beautiful, and it's his legacy. Now everybody looks at it and is like, oh, look how ugly and creepy it is. So it's sad, but
it is sad.
I don't think it's haunted.
I don't either.
And so that's Island of the Dead Dolls.
Island of the Dolls.
I'm calling it Island of the Dead Dolls because when I looked up all my information, that is what Mexico City calls it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm calling it.
I mean, fair.
Because that's where it's at. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Where can they find us?
They can find us on Instagram at @forthebooze_podcast and on Facebook at @forthebooze.
That's right. You can also find us on X at For The Booze. You can find us here on YouTube at For The Booze, and you can find us over on TikTok at For The Booze. And don't forget, it's Patreon time.
Patreons.
And we got to thank our just the most lovely people. The most lovely people.
Beautiful people.
And it's Halloween time, so I'm gonna give them Halloweeny type names.
Ooh. Okay.
We have Jen, the Count Kim.
Ooh.
Oh, you like that, huh? You like that one?
That's a good one.
Yeah, you like that one. We have Tina, the Murderous Madat. Ooh, right? I don't know why everybody's turning into killers for this one. I don't know where this is coming from. And those are our top level. Those are our the decision makers. I had to think about my own. I set the Patreon up. Jeez.
Wow.
What's wrong with me?
Wow.
And then for our producers, we have Joe, the Malevolent, the Monster, the Marauder, Mattern.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like it.
You're doing much better this week.
I know. I've been thinking about it.
Of course you have.
Well, dude, I struggled so hard last week, and you just stared at me like you made me feel bad.
You did this.
And we have Teresa. Oh my gosh, it's a ghost O'Donnell.
Oh.
Oh, I know. It's very spooky.
Yeah.
She's not, though. She's lovely.
It's spooky season. The temperature outside is changing, and I am so excited.
Yeah. And
my goodness.
If you would like to join the ranks of these amazing people, come check us out /forthebooze.com or for the booze _podcast over on Patreon.
That's right.
You get an extra podcast. What's that podcast called?
That is called Behind the Booze.
That's right, which we usually record right after this. And you get that every single week. And you also get the episodes that we put out early.
That's right. And
you get to hang out with us.
Behind the Boozes, a little hangout sesh.
Yeah,
we just kind of read you ghost stories.
And I talk to everybody on there. Like, as long as they talk to me, I will talk to them. Yeah, those are our people. So
it's fun time over there.
It is. Lovely. And if you are a podcast listener or a watcher of this and you'd like to help us out, please 5 stars, rate and review anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
That's right. And like, comment, subscribe on YouTube.
That's right. You get the history and mystery behind it all.
What he said.
That's right. I like how we switched up. All right.
I've been pushing it forever, and you've said no.
Let's go and take us out of this thing.
Well, thank you, everybody, so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
There's no way I'm ever visiting that island.
No.